Some of you will know that for the last few years I've been working with Hitchin Historical Society on various audio-visual projects under the generic title of Old Hitchin on Film. These were shown at the Queen Mother Theatre during Hitchin Festival in July each year, culminating in the release in 2011 of a DVD with the same title, containing nearly 2 hours of historic moving pictures and still images from the last 100 years. The work is continuing and several projects are underway, some of which were seen in July 2012. This presentation is to give you an idea of what goes into making an audio-visual show. First, we need a story. Now, 2012 marked the centenary of one of the earliest crashes to befall the newly created Royal Flying Corps, which is commemorated in a stone memorial on the Graveley to Willian Road near Hitchin. Next, we need an author. We've been fortunate that the whole project has been driven by local author and journalist Richard Whitmore. And fortunately, he included this story in his book Hertfordshire Headlines, from which he was able to produce the next item. A script. You'll see that it shows the images in sequence and the commentary to go with them. And then Richard revises his script. And amends it again. And finally, I add cue numbers to help with marking the sound clips. At the same time, Richard has been using his journalist skills to locate pictures and quotations to support the story. Then it's time to record the commentary. As a former newsreader, it makes good sense to use Richard for this as well. It's worthwhile using a decent microphone to get a nice clear recording. I used to enclose it in a sort of cave made from a duvet on an upturned picnic table to eliminate room echo. However, I found that the pop filter, even this cheap one, does a pretty good job without any extra padding. I feed the microphone through an external mixer into an old laptop computer. You might get away with connecting the mic directly into the PC. The software I use is Adobe Audition, but you can use any sound recording software, such as Audacity, which is free. We record 1 or 2 pages at a time and save them for later splitting up. After adjusting the volume of the recordings, I split them up into individual clips corresponding to the cue numbers on the script. Then it's time to assemble the pictures and sound clips. I use ProShow Gold for this. It's pretty intuitive and produces a direct video output for creating the DVD. Each picture is dragged down onto the timeline, where its duration and transition times can be set. The sound clip can be associated with the picture. Once all the pictures are in place, the compilation can be rendered into a video file. Most of the presentations are a mix of slideshow and video clips. This is why I use Coral Video Studio to stitch everything together. The technique is similar where clips are dragged onto the timeline. The opening sequence is a slideshow, followed by a piece live to camera at the memorial site. Then there is another slide sequence followed by archive footage from the East Anglian Film Archive. More slides, video footage and so on until the show is complete. We're fortunate to have the services of Hitchin Band to provide the music used in this show. The tracks were reduced in volume to fit behind the commentary and added in Video Studio. Finally, the entire compilation is rendered to composite video file, ready for burning onto a DVD. So let's look at the last few minutes of this presentation, the Graveley Air Disaster of 1912, and see how it all fits together.
1912 was the first of several bad years for the Royal Flying Corps. Monoplanes were grounded for a while following 3 fatal crashes that summer. The first was on Salisbury Plain, 2 months before the Graveley crash. That too is commemorated by a roadside memorial at a spot known as Airman's Cross. On the day of that crash, the crew's commanding officer began a tradition that lasts to the present day. He issued an order declaring, "Flying will continue this evening as usual." Only when the Great War was approaching its final year was the shocking death toll of RFC pilots in training confirmed. Of just over 14,000 flying fatalities before and during the Great War, 8,000 involved airmen who were still under instruction. And for the present-day band of brothers who had inspired this act of remembrance, it was a job well done.